I've been hearing from so many women lately, they have some commonalities. They're at a breaking point. They are done with the current state of things in their relationships. They're separating, considering separating, trying to rebuild after infidelity, and women trying to date. Super women with super traits trying to date. And the one thing they have in common, well, they have a few things in common, but the one thing that they all have in common, no matter where they are on the spectrum, is that they can't continue the way they've been going. There's this element of doneness. And like I was chatting with my clients at my most recent retreat, we would blame it on the eclipse energy. And this eclipse energy just seems like it is like who we were before the eclipse is not who we are now. And I say that a little bit joking because we are not blaming everything that is going on in our lives on the moon. We're taking accountability and taking action with pleasure. Okay, so these women that are reaching out, these are past clients. These are clients that I haven't met before, like brand new ones. And they're kind of waving this white flag of, I know that this that I have been doing isn't working, but I don't know how to begin again. And like any good superwoman with super traits, they have tried what seems like all of the things: hormones, communication, therapy, taking the online courses, listening to the podcast, saving the Instagram posts. But with over a decade of experience and now a coercive control certification, I see this so clearly now. The missing piece from the life that we have to the life that we want, understanding our super traits. And without this lens, we can spend years and hundreds of thousands of dollars repeating the same loops over and over and over. Or we can be given a new framework and clearly see the truth. If you haven't, I encourage you to listen to episode 194 of the Pleasure Principles podcast: Why Super Traits Keep High Achieving Women Lonely and Stuck in Relationships. Super traits are qualities that make us very successful. That's why the women that I work with, they are at the tops of their careers. Whatever they do well. When they exit a role, they need to be replaced by two people. And we think that this is a big flex. And you know what? It is amazing. But our super traits make us amazing. They are also survival tools: empathy, loyalty, hard work, forgiveness. So these traits that we've been praised for our whole life, and they've helped us get our success, but they cost us in intimacy. They cost us in our health. They cost us relationally, like not even sexual relationships, but relationships with coworkers, female friendships, especially. So they leave us in a state where we are constantly over giving and under receiving. And this is such a foreign concept when we have super traits that my clients aren't even aware of what they're doing. So today we're going to focus on the super trait loyalty. Before we get into all the details on loyalty, which is one of the top super traits for all of the women that are rebuilding. And you know this was me. I used to be called loyal to a fault. We stay in relationships and situations even when it's costing us our peace, our health, our well-being. It's costing us money, time, energy. Like, we don't give up. We hang in. And I see superwomen do this corporately with their careers. I see them do it with hires. When we hire somebody, we are like loyal to that person. And even if they are not doing the job they are hired to do, we want to keep them. We want to help them. We, their sister's dog is sick, so we feel bad firing them. And I know because we've all done this. Every woman I know has been taught to ration her pleasure, put a lid on her light, to portion herself into crumbs, to measure her worth by how much she can endure, to only feel valuable in a relationship by how much she gives. This is the truth, superwomen. You don't need to starve yourself anymore. You don't need to keep pretending you were only worthy by how much you give. You don't need to keep performing pleasure, sex, intimacy, happiness. This is the Pleasure Principles Podcast, the place where we are done and we're ready to rebuild. The place where we're counting calories of desire and start living a life and have intimacy that we are actually hungry for. I'm Dr. Jordan Miggins, naturopathic doctor, author, coercive control certified clinician. Here we name the invisible dynamics that keep unsuccessful women stuck in survival mode. And I give you the map to pleasure-centered relationships that are mutual and alive. We do this by learning about our super traits and learning about power and pleasure. So let me ask you, what are you hungry for? Because it is time to eat. Loyalty is a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's what makes you dependable, trustworthy, the woman who stays through thick and thin. And I honestly used to think that being told I was loyal to a fault was a good thing. And judging by how many of you that resonated with on my TikTok, apparently you're the same. But when loyalty is overextended or not reciprocated, it keeps us in relationships and situations too long after they've stopped being safe, when they've actually started to cost us. Okay, so this is like staying on a sinking ship because you said you would get on board in the first place. I have two clients that I'm thinking of, one current, one past, and they have 3 young children. They have been together for 15 years, married for 15, together for longer than that. And she's carried the weight of the entire relationship. She's the primary breadwinner. She did all of the household management, the emotional management, the bedtimes. Obviously, she carried and gave life to their 3 beautiful children. And her husband was checked out on his phone, had a couple internet relationships, never any, in person or physical, but definitely breached some boundaries and agreement of their relationship. And this relationship hurts her. And it has hurt for a lot of years. And he'll say he's going to go to therapy and things will look better for a little bit. And then they slide back. And part of the reason why she came to me was because of the intimacy issue. And it was like, no wonder your body is shut down. No wonder you don't want to be intimate, because he's not there. He's not present. He's not a support for you. Like, you are in the dominant role all the time. You're the caregiver for him. So anyways, it makes sense. So what we thought was an intimacy issue wasn't. Like, her desire, it will turn back on the minute she feels safe. And she wants to fix this at all costs because of the kids, because of the life they built, because of their history. And I honor and value all of those things. But what we've been working on is the super traits that have been contributing, and they're not necessarily a bad thing, but her want over function, her inability to step back, her inability to let him be uncomfortable, as well as the fact that she has chosen, and this really landed for her the other day, she has chosen dysfunction. And she says, I'm brilliant. And I pride myself in having a bullshit detector. And she's like, I don't hire people like this in my company. my clients, like I hold them to a higher standard in their businesses. And she just said, she's like, I'm feeling a lot of shame for just how much I've tolerated and endured. And a part of it is because there was never another option for her. There was never another gear. And before you go there, I'm not saying the gear is to lead. If he can do his healing work and she can do hers, and they can create a pleasure centered relationship that is mutually beneficial to them both, that is always my number one goal. But what I'm teaching her is, and she also doesn't need to leave to start healing. She doesn't need to leave to learn about her super traits and learn, holy shit, I've chosen dysfunction my whole life. I've stayed in a marriage that hasn't filled me, that hasn't made me feel alive and hasn't made me feel safe and supported. So I don't really know what a healthy relationship is. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret, everyone. When we have super traits, we don't know what a healthy relationship is. And I have another client. They are caught in this sort of loop for probably 6 or 8 months. They did a trial separation, but they're still tangled. And it goes a little bit like, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and things will get better and they'll look a lot better. She'll start showing up, or he'll start showing up for her. He'll show up to therapy, couples therapy. But then the minute the eyes are off or the guardrails aren't in place anymore, like somehow it seems to backslide. And she is so sick of the yo yo, but she wants it so desperately to work for her kids, for her family. And I honor that. Loyalty is one of my highest super traits. And it left me in a relationship like where my safety became a concern, where I could have been killed. So there comes a point where our super traits actually cause us harm. And we know that being in an unfulfilling situation is the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That is the stress that our bodies are under. That is our pleasure centers in our brain are shut down because our amygdala, the fear centers, our lizard brain is so overactive for so many years. We're so scrambled, we can't even really think clearly. And just one more thing on this. So, this client, they have this push pull dynamic, is something she realized because she came to me when she had the higher libido and she was like seeking that connection. And she realized that the only place her husband was present and gave her eye contact and was connected to her was during sex. And then he would pull away again. So there was just so many areas in their relationship where this push pull dynamic existed. And when we looked at it through super traits and when we looked at it through power and control, it became crystal clear within 90 minutes for her. She's like, oh, and I mean, she's also coached with me before, so she gets, I don't need to explain a lot. She's getting it. But 90 minutes, and she had clarity that a decade of on and off therapy and professional development and help didn't give her. And now she can decide, these are the things that I own. These are his things that have nothing to do with me. And this is the likelihood that these things are going to change. And she can make an informed decision about staying or going. And one of the most amazing things is that she can drop the rope on the stuff that's not hers to hold and the stuff that's not hers, that's not statistically speaking going to change. Because once we have this clarity, we can look it up. And I encourage my clients to look it up themselves to figure out, oh, okay, like this stuff is going to change. This stuff probably never going to change. And then she can make an informed decision. But even the peace she has knowing what's not hers to hold and what is hers to work on, because couples therapy, sex therapy scrambles it if they don't look at it through a super trait lens and a coercive control lens. And what I would have given before I spent like $100,000 and years trying to fix these things when they were never mine to fix and they were never going to get better anyway. So you don't need to leave to heal, but you can have clarity and so much more peace. I'm going to explain a little bit about loyalty, but if you want to start getting that clarity, if you were in a cycle of rebuilding, whatever type of rebuilding that looks like, but basically, like, you're done with the old way and it's time either to create relationship 2.0 because you're done. It's time to separate. It's time you want to date again, but you want to do it right. You need to know your super traits. The super trait quiz is in the show notes. It'll take you 3 or 4 minutes. Also, it will take like 5 or 10 minutes to send the results to your email. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry because I made a complex quiz that has a lot of steps for it to take on the back end because I didn't just want to send the same, you know, 3 answers to one of 3 answers to everybody. Like, this is detailed. Okay. If you've done everything right and you still feel unseen, wondering if you're the problem, wondering why all the work you have done hasn't worked to bring you fulfillment, it's probably your super traits. So head to the show notes and take that quiz. So if loyalty is your super trait, you stay, you fix, you hope, you don't give up easily, you always see the best in people, you believe in their potential. And I see superwomen do this, like I said, in all areas. This is with our kids, with our hires in our team, our friends, our roles in corporations, on boards. But sometimes loyalty becomes a leash that we are tightening on ourselves. Loyalty helped us survive by avoiding loss or judgment, by clinging for connection, even when it cost us. And I'm personally thinking of unhealthy parental relationships, and I'm sure you can think of some of the same as well. And we've all bought into this belief that love means endurance, when really it should mean nourishment. Love's hard, marriage is hard work. Yes, and yes, and we should at least be getting, if we're giving a 10 out of 10, we should at least be getting a 5 out of 10 back. And that is setting a low bar. Now, loyalty looks like staying in relationships that drain you, calling dysfunction commitment, like my client that I shared about, betraying yourself in the name of love. And if loyalty is one of your super traits, healing begins when you realize that loyalty without reciprocity isn't itself abandonment. And if we have abandoned ourselves, that's not intimacy. So our loyalty in and of itself is not the problem. Okay. It's a super trait, it's a survival skill. And this is why so many women that I work with feel like they're starting over without a compass. And they don't need more therapy, hormone panel. They don't need to communicate better or different. They need a relational map and framework that works for women with super traits. Okay. It's why I created the super trait quiz. It's also why I'm teaching the super trait masterclass October 2nd. October 2nd, 1 p.m. Eastern. There will be a replay, but you're going to want to attend live because there's only going to be certain resources and bonuses available to you if you are on the call live. We're going to map out your super traits. And this is going to give you language to name what is actually happening in the relationship. So years of confusion, years of loops and power dynamics, you're going to get clarity. Clarity why the therapy, communication, hormones haven't solved the problem, okay? Because it was never actually you. And I'm going to give you the first step to stop repeating the same patterns in love and relationships, because we usually do it in all aspects. So if you've ever wondered why you can succeed at so many other facets of life and why you feel so stuck in love, in intimate relationships, in friendships, this is your answer. Loyalty is sexy and safe when it's mutual. It's powerful when it's chosen, but not when it's a survival response like most superwomen. Loyalty that costs you your pleasure, your peace, your health? No, not anymore. So, this is a map and a framework we are going to rewrite together. Head to the show notes, register for the free masterclass on October 2nd. I can't wait to see you there.